So AFE's Magnum Force Stage 2 we're taking a quick look at today is going to be a great option for the newer 3.5 liter EcoBoost F150 owners out there that are after a high flow cold air intake that's going to give you a small bump in horsepower and torque. It's going to make a ton of noise, but it's going to look great under the hood. Now installation wise here, expect an easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter here, about an hour job, only needing a couple tools. We're going to show you how coming up soon. So cold air intakes are a great way for truck owners to get their feet wet and to start to get into performance mods. Now, they're super easy to bolt on for this platform, which thrives on more air for power, and cold airs are definitely the first place to start in terms of digging for upgrading. So how does the cold air help improve performance? Well, just like the name says here, guys, it's gonna pull cooler and denser air into your motor, which is going to equate to better flow and increased horsepower, torque, and throttle response. And with the Magnum Force 2 AFE, their unit is going to outflow the factory intake by upwards of 67%, which is a pretty huge increase. Now, something I really like about this is that it does have a dual intake setup. And we've been asked a lot if having 2 filters is just a gimmick or if it's gonna help breathe better. And given that 67% increase, I'm gonna tell you right now, guys, it's not snake oil. The design reduces turbulence by keeping the inlet plumbing separate, which essentially makes the airflow travel much faster and that much more smoother. So with that dual inlet design in mind, forcing that cooler and denser air and more power into your EcoBoost is easily going to be accomplished here, and honestly probably more so than other intakes on the market. But while we're on topic of power here, I would expect to see high single-digit gains with this setup, but it's not something that's going to require a custom tune. That's going to be due to the fact that the EcoBoost F150s don't have a mass airflow sensor. So because there's no MAP sensor, you can add any cold air intake without issues. Now, what all this means between you and me or in English is that you're going to be saving a few bucks, but doing my job here, guys, and having a 3.5 EcoBoost that is running a custom tune, I can tell you that it's well worth the money. But tunes and turbos aside here, folks, this thing is just downright killer looking on the table right here, and it looks great at home under the hood. And again, that's gonna be thanks in part to their dual filter setup, which I've always thought just looks pretty cool. Now, this is a no-cut and no-drill intake, and it's manufactured from 3.5-inch mandrel bent aluminum piping, and it is going to feature an H-pipe, which ensures a healthy intake pressure balance. Now, what that means is that you're not going to have to worry about one pipe pulling faster than the other, because it's creating an imbalance or having uneven flow, which can essentially hurt performance. So the intake kit is going to feature the Pro washable and reusable filters, which will come pre-oiled. Now, the filter uses 5 layers of fine mesh cotton, which means it's going to capture a lot of dust and particulates over time. But basically, you're just not going to have to clean these as often as you'd find with other filters, but once the time comes, just rinse them, re-oil them, and you're good to go. But a cool feature that I really do like about this is that the heat shield. Now, this is manufactured to be used in conjunction with the factory setup, and it merely snaps in place. Now, AFE developed that to mate with the lower half of the factory airbox, meaning there's no guesswork when it comes time to install it because it utilizes those factory mounting locations. Now, features aside though, guys, if you are after a premium and beefy setup like this, expect to be shelling out just shy of about $500 to get this onto your rig. While that sounds like a lot, consider what you're going to be getting here. Now, compared to InGen's PowerFlow, for example, which is currently the only other dual inlet design, your main differences are merely just going to be that theirs is polished and the heat shield's going to be slightly different. But if you're after something with a little bit more shine, that's definitely going to be a viable option. Now, stacked up to AFE's Momentum GT setup, that intake is going to cost a little bit less, but it just uses 1 main tube and 1 filter opposed to the 2 like we've got here. Now, the Force 2 still pulls cold air from your factory grill inlet, so you're not going to be seeing a huge difference with the Momentum's closed box design. And when it comes time to install this, like I said earlier, you're looking at a pretty easy 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter here, about an hour's worth of work, only needing a basic socket set and screwdriver. So getting started, you'll need to disconnect the manifold air pressure sensor plug from your stock airbox. You can then loosen up the factory intake clamps using an 8mm from the left and right side, and then unclamp the top portion of your airbox. Once you're done there, you'll need to remove the factory intake and the top portion of the box by pulling it straight up and out. You can then install the AFE housing and then fasten the clips along with inserting your filters and then get your clamps on loosely. You can then remove the MAP sensor from the factory intake, and then you're going to need to install the MAP sensor on the rear of the AFE intake tube using the provided grommet. Now, the grommet can be held inside the tube to give you a little bit more support while you're getting everything into place. But then install your clamps, but make sure to leave them loosely until you finish everything up. So you can then grab the tubes and then get them into the remaining couplers. And once you're done there, install the straight coupling on the crossover tube and then adjust them for the best fit and tighten everything down. But once you're done there, guys, all you need to do is just reconnect your sensor harness, check your connections, make sure everything's pretty tight, you're good to go. So that's going to wrap up my review and breakdown of AFE's Magnum Force Stage 2 Pro 5R cold air intake fitting your 2015 and 2016 3.5 liter F150 EcoBoost. That can be found right here at AmericanTrucks.com.